This is Discovering the Scriptures with Dr. Peter John Parisis. Currently, we are in Daniel chapter 3, verse 27. Reading from the King James Bible, quote, "And the princes, governors, and captains, and the king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was a hair of their hair singed, neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them." Unquote. Let's go to God in prayer. Oh, Father, the business of today, of what is to come and what has been. Calm our minds, calm our hearts, please, and help us to have more than just a 6-second attention span. Help us to spend time with you in prayer every day, to read your scriptures and meditate upon them every day, and to learn to have a personal, closer relationship with you each day, and to love our neighbors as we learn to love ourselves properly also. Grant us wisdom and knowledge from the scripture. Help us meditate upon the day. Give us new insights continuously, and help us, Lord, to be more like Jesus. In Jesus Christ's name I pray. Now, Father, I'm going to give you a moment of silence so you can speak with us, and I do ask that you would. In Jesus' name I ask. Okay, now let's read this in context. The paragraph is Daniel 3:26 to 3:27. King James Bible, quote, "Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fierce furnace, and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, your servants of the Most High God, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth of the midst of the fire. And the princes, governors, and captains, and the king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men, upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was an hair of their hair singed, neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them." Unquote. Now, reading from the Young's Digital Translation. "And gathered together the satraps, the prefects, and the governors and the counselors of the king, are seeing these men that the fire hath no power over their bodies, and the hair of their head hath not been singed, and the coats had not changed, and the smell of fire had not passed on them." Unquote. Well, the parsing gives us nothing but casual and sometimes a couple of the causative conjunctions, and that's basically it. There wasn't anything to show us nothing but that it was probably written casually by Daniel after the fact. I'm going to read you John Gill's commentary on this, quote, "And the princes, governors, and captains, and the king's counselors being gathered together, either by the order of the king or on their own accord, to see the miracle that was wrought, saw these men, saw them walking in the furnace, saw them come out of it at the king's call, and saw them when they were out, and examined them thoroughly, so that they had ocularly demonstrated full proof and conviction of the truth of what was done, upon whose bodies the fire had no power to blister, scorch, burn, and consume them, as it has usually over the bodies of men or other creatures, nor was an hair of their head singed, which is easily done with the weakest flame, and this must be understood of the hair of their eyebrows and beards also. Neither were their coats changed, neither the substance nor form nor color of them, but were just as they were when they were cast in the furnace. The same holds good of all their outer garments, their interior ones, and their turbans, socks, and stockings. Nor the smell of the fire had passed on them, as will upon persons that stay in any place, any time, and that there's much fire and smoke, especially where much combustible things are burnt, as pitch, sulfur, and the like, as in furnaces, and very probably in this, which had been so vehemently heated and yet there was no smell of it on their garment, all of which served to make the miracle the more wonderful. So here we have what seems to be a bunch of gruesome men. Who would want to watch somebody burn up and die and hear the screaming that you're never going to forget, and see those decaying bodies of the strongest of your army in front of the furnace cooking? I mean, it's just a grotesque thing. And then they were to stand there and observe and find out that indeed a miracle has taken place. Okay, yes, I could see that. I guess it's a form of entertainment. They're trying to make sure your curiosity's been taken care of. But still, sick. Let's go on and see what happens now with the rest of this. And remember, please click on the ads that are showing up on YouTube. It helps support this ministry. You currently have me in the $300 range this month, and I do greatly appreciate it. The more that can be raised by the clicking of the ads, the more time I'm able to spend on bringing more of Discovering the Scriptures to you, which is what I'm focused on. I am bringing over quite a bit of my other speakers that I have either read or have their material over to YouTube, because I'm shutting down sermonaudio.com, and I'm just bringing everything over here. I just don't see the need to pay $40 a month to be hosted on their site anymore. It's been over 10 years when I can do so for free on YouTube. So please continue to keep me in your prayers, and please continue to support the ministry. If you want to support it directly, you can send donations to Peter John Parisis at gmail.com through PayPal, or you can go ahead and mail it in at 14792 Coram, that's Coram Street, Detroit 48205, and that's in Michigan. Please continue to keep me in your prayers, and God bless you.